right, let's go ahead and turn to page 23 in our book. And we're on lesson 15. And we're going to be covering pages 23, 24, and 25 today. And we're going to talk about how ecosystems change. Ecosystems are always changing. What are they always doing? Changing. Okay, meaning the weather could change. It could be really hot and a lot of evaporation happen, and so there's less water. The animals could migrate. Maybe the food source, food resources are lower, and so therefore ecosystems are always changing. And we're going to see how, in this lesson, how they're changing. So, what do we say again? Ecosystems are always changing. One more time. Ecosystems are always
changing.
All right, let's go ahead and read on page 23. I'll be the first to read. And then if I call you to read, I want you to read really loud. Yes, teacher?
Yes, teacher.
All right, follow along, please. Ecosystems are always changing. Change is a part of God's plan for the earth. A natural disaster, such as a flood or fire, can change an ecosystem. Now, disaster in this paragraph, disaster means something bad happened, like a big fire happened or a big flood happened. That's a disaster, something really bad. Let's keep going. Living things can also cause changes. A dam built by beavers can change the ecosystem of a stream or a small river. Each living thing has an effect or change on its ecosystem. Sometimes this effect is helpful. Other times it is harmful or can hurt the ecosystem. The effect may even help one kind of living thing, but harm or hurt another. Who would like to read? Okay, Chaeyeon, nice and loud, please.
Some animals have great effects on their ecosystems. Elephants are an example. When a herd of elephants moves through an area, it forms pets. Other animals and people can then use these pets.
Good, thank you. Who would like to read? Good. Soyeon, nice and loud, please.
Other animals and people can.
Okay, you go to the word water.
Water is sometimes hard to find in the areas where elephants live. So elephants use their
Tusks.
to dig deep holes to find water in underground springs. Those watering holes also provide other animals and people with water.
Okay, so the word is these, not those. Okay, so these watering holes. Okay, who would like to read next? Jihae, you got to read nice and loud.
Elephants must eat a lot of food. They eat grass,
Bushes.
and trees. As they eat, elephants often pull these plants up of the ground. This
Okay, try that again. This loosens.
loosens the soil of clay and room for new trees is other plants to grow.
All right, so they give an example in your book of an elephant that will make a change to the ecosystem. Now, where does an elephant usually live? I know some of you say the zoo, but that's not what I'm talking about. Where? Yes, on a savanna. Can we raise our hand next time? A savanna in Africa. A savanna is a place where there is lots of grass. Okay, lots of grass. Yeah. Go ahead. All right, so elephants live on the savanna where there's lots of grass. So there's lots of food for them, but is there a lot of water in this area? No, but elephants are very good at finding water. Okay, so ways that they will change the ecosystem. One, their bodies are really big and heavy. So when they're walking, what happens to the ground? When they're walking, what happens to the ground? Go ahead, Gaewon, nice and loud.
Dry.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Dry.
Well, yes, but when they're walking in a group or in a line. What happens to the ground? What do they make? No. Okay. Go ahead. No. Okay. No. Okay. Yewan? A path. Okay. It says in your book, a path or a place where they can walk. And so these big animals, since they're so big, they will make a path with their big, heavy bodies, and other animals will use that path, or even people will use that path. Now, usually, they're walking in a line to go find water. They'll find a watering hole, and so other animals, they'll use the same path to go find water. So that's a change in the ecosystem. Why? Because their heavy bodies are maybe killing the grass that they're walking on to make a path. That's a change in the ecosystem. Also, if they cannot find water, they have very, very long horns here. Okay? Have you ever seen an elephant? Here you can see in the book. Look in your book, the picture of the elephants. Can you see on their face? Their long horns, those are called tusks. Say that, tusks. And those tusks are very hard. And they use those tusks to dig into the ground like a shovel. And they can dig really deep and they can find water for them and for other animals. Now also, what do they usually eat? What do elephants usually eat? Can you raise your hand? Okay. Tisa? Grass, okay, or plants. They like to eat plants. But they eat a lot of grass, which is really good because they live on the savannah, and a savannah has a lot of grass. So, how do they get the food in their mouth? What do they use? Raise your hand, please. Okay, Kyujin? Their nose or their trunk. Can we say that? That long thing, that their nose, that is their trunk. Can you say that? Trunk. Okay, so an elephant has a trunk, and it also has two horns called tusks. Tusk. So they use their trunk, which is very, very strong. It's kind of like an arm. Like we have two arms. They use their trunk like an arm. And they'll twist their trunk in a circle to grab the grass, and they pull the grass out of the ground. And then what do they do with it? They put it in their mouth and they eat it. Now, you might think, oh, that's a bad thing. They're eating all the grass. But no, that's really good. When they grab the grass and they pull it up, they also pull up the roots. Do you understand the roots? Okay, so let me draw you a quick picture. So here's the ground. Here's the grass. Okay, and down here is the what? The roots, okay? So when they grab this and they pull it up, they also pull up the roots. And now air, can you understand air? Yes. Air can get into the soil. And it's really important that air, especially nitrogen, gets into the soil. That helps new plants to grow. Can you understand? So water, sunlight, nitrogen can get into the soil because they pull up the grass and they pull up the roots. Understand? So it's a good thing for the ecosystem that the elephants eat the grass. But when they do that, they make lots of changes to the ground. Understand? Let's continue on. Let's go on to the next page, please. 24. Okay. Now, organisms like animals, they can change an ecosystem. But do only animals change the ecosystem? No. Who else can change an ecosystem?
People.
People can, that's right. Now, when we made these two school buildings, what happened to the ecosystem here? There was a big ecosystem here. What happened? You saw? Well, we still have some ecosystems here, but there were many trees that grew fruit. There was a lot of grass. There was lots of soil, and there were rocks here. There were no buildings here before they made Haven Christian School. It was a big ecosystem, lots of trees. What happened to that? What happened to all the trees? Go ahead.
Tree died.
No, they didn't die. What happened to those trees? Do you see them out here? No, what happened to them? What did they do? What did people do?
Cut.
Raise your hand, please. What did they do? Raise your hand. They cut them down. They had to cut those trees down. They also had to dig a lot of dirt and take the dirt away and the soil and rocks. So, and many of the plants, the grass that was living here, there were some flowers, that was all taken away. Was that a change to the ecosystem? Yes, but we needed to do that so we have room to build our elementary and to build the middle school and high school. If we don't take away those trees, can we build a building? No. But people, when we build something, can do a lot of changes to an ecosystem. So let's read on this page and see how people can change an ecosystem. Not just animals, but people too. Who would like to read? Can you raise your hand? Okay. Hyujin, nice and loud.
People also change ecosystem. Wherever we live, we build things and move things around. Every change creates an
Environment.
environment affects the living thing.
Okay. Who else would like to read? Okay. Nuri, can you read?
When the first
Nice and loud.
When God first put Adam on earth, He gave him the job of caring for it. He made keepers of creation.
Can we try that again? He made Adam.
He made Adam and all people
Stewards.
stewards or keeper of creation. God expected us to be good stewards of Earth's resources. He wants us to use the resources we need without being wasteful.
As we
As we make change, we need to take care of what God He has given us.
Yes, that's correct. One way people change an ecosystem is by building things. We build new homes, shopping centers, and roads. Ponds and lakes may be filled, trees and plants may be cut down or uprooted. All right, who would like to read the last paragraph on that page? Yusuf, can you read?
Changes like this can be
Harmful, right?
to other living things in the area. The living thing may no longer have the resource to meet their needs. Smaller plants may die without larger trees to
Shade them.
shade them. Animals may have less water, food, and shelter. Some animals may need to move to an area with more resources.
Okay, so like our school buildings, we had to cut down lots of trees, take away lots of plants, take away lots of rocks and soil. The ecosystem changed here. Now, there were probably animals that lived in this ecosystem, right? Maybe some rabbits, maybe some birds, maybe snakes or insects. When we cut down the trees, what happened to their home? What happened to their home? It's gone, that's right. And so what did they have to do? They had two choices. They could stay and there are no more food resources, or what could they do? We learned this word yesterday. Migration. They can move to a new ecosystem. That's right. So if they don't have the food resources or water resources in their ecosystem, they have to move to a new ecosystem or they would just die because there's no more resource. So when we build things, we change ecosystems, and organisms like animals, like rabbits and birds and whatever kind of organisms, they lose their home. There are ways that we can help that, but it does a lot of changing to the ecosystem. Maybe there's a natural lake or a natural pond, and we want to build a building there. We have to put soil in that lake or pond and fill that up so we can build a building. Remember, who's been outside? Can you see this building over here that they've been making? There are two buildings there, and before they made those buildings, what was there?
Trees.
There were trees, there was a garden, there were flowers that grew there, But they had to take all of that away. They dug a lot of soil away, and those organisms don't live there anymore. If there were any birds or insects or any other kind of animals, they had to move to a new ecosystem. Okay? So lots of changes happen when we build things. But God says in the Bible, after he made Adam, he says, Adam, I want you to take care of this garden. Right? Do you think Adam just, I'm just going to sleep all day in this beautiful garden, and I'm just going to eat the fruit of the trees, and everything will be easy, and I can be lazy. Is that what God said it was okay for Adam to do? No, he says, I want you to take care of my garden. He says, to take care of the plants and the animals there. And God also gives that responsibility to people. He says, I have many resources for you to use, but you need to have wisdom when you use them. And you need to take care of those resources. Tell me, does this show wisdom? Let's say I need to brush my teeth, and I turn on the water, and I leave the water on, and the water's coming out and coming out and coming out, and I go make some breakfast, and I leave the water on. Is that wise?
No.
What am I doing? What is the word? I'm wasting. That's right. Water is just being thrown away like trash. Is that being wise with God's resource?
No.
No. If I'm brushing my teeth, should I leave the water on?
No.
No, I should turn it off. We want to save water or protect it. Let's say I come into the classroom and, it's cold in here. What do? I turn the heater on, and that uses electricity. Should I leave the door open?
No.
No, why? What happens?
Oh,
Yeah, the hot air goes out the door, and we're using more energy. Okay? And our room doesn't stay warm. So we have to be careful and be wise with the resources God has given us. Okay? So let's move on to the next one. Page 25, please. People can prevent or stop some of these harmful or bad effects in many ways. We can plant trees and bushes around new buildings. We can plant wildflowers along new roads. We can even build small ponds to provide water for living things. Another way we can change an ecosystem is by causing pollution. Ooh, I like this word. Pollution is anything that makes water, air, or land dirty. One kind of pollution is litter. Litter is trash that is not thrown away in the proper place. Who would like to read? Okay, who has not read yet? Who would like to read? Okay, Yewan, nice and loud, please.
Litter can be found along the side of a road. It can also be found in an ocean or a river. When we
Carelessly.
carelessly
Let's try that again. Carelessly.
drop trash where it does not belong, we are destroying the beauty of the earth God gave us.
Good, thank you. Who else would like to read? Okay, who has not read, please? Hassan, can you read, please?
Litter is not just ugly, it is also harmful. Trash can cover up plants and prevent it from getting the sunlight it needs. Animals can eat trash that live on them, or they might get trapped or tangled in trash items.
Very good. Sungan, can you read? You can?
We can keep the lion and clean like
Properly
disposing
disposing
of
unwanted.
items and trash. We can place of all unwanted items
You're right. Items in recycling.
recycling bin
Donation.
Donation of faith. Or give them to other person. Trash should be
Thrown.
thrown away in trash can.
Good. God has given us a beautiful world with many wonderful resources to enjoy. It is our job to use those resources wisely. We should make sure the changes we make bring glory to God. So when we build a building, okay, are we sitting up straight? Students listening, ears on. We're almost done. When we make a building like our school and it's all finished, what can we do to help the ecosystem? Because remember, we took away all the trees and plants, and then we made a building. What can we do to help the ecosystem? Go ahead, Soyam.
Throw the trash in the trash can.
That's true, but that's talking about pollution. So think about making a building, and we're all finished making a building. What can we do to help the ecosystem? Chaya?
Plant more trees.
Yes, we can plant trees around the building. And trees are very good. Why? What do trees give us? Oxygen. Let's raise our hand next time. So trees give us oxygen. So we can plant many trees around the building, or many bushes, which are small trees. We can also plant flowers. All of those things are good to provide oxygen for us. And also planting trees helps give protection to other animals. So there are ways that we can help an ecosystem when we finish making a building. But there's another thing that people do that causes our earth or our ecosystem to change. And we learned this word. Can we say this? Pollution.
Pollution.
Oh, pollution is not a good thing. Pollution makes our air dirty. Okay? And if we breathe that in, it gets into our lungs and it could make us sick. Pollution also makes the land dirty by throwing trash on the ground. Also, anything that makes water dirty, that's pollution. For instance, there's a picture here in your book. What is that animal? A turtle, a sea turtle. What's around it?
Dirty water.
Well, maybe the water's a little dirty, but what's around its neck? It's trash. Can he swim very well if there's trash around its neck? No, we need to be careful. Where should we throw trash?
Trash can.
In the trash can. And sometimes, this is very, very sad, I will walk down the street when I go to the bus, and I will see trash on the ground. That's very sad. Not only does it make the beautiful area look very dirty, but also it can hurt animals when you throw trash on the ground. Okay. So we need to be careful. If we have trash, we throw it in the trash can. But another way we can help our ecosystem is by recycling. Can we say that? Recycling. That means we can recycle paper, we can recycle cans, we can recycle plastic. Recycle means to use again. We can make something new from old cans, old plastic bottles, okay? Old paper, we can make new paper from. And meaning recycling means to make again or to use again. Remember the word RE, or the letters RE? RE, what does that mean in English? Re means what?
New.
Okay, means again, that's right. Okay, re means again. Cycle means a circle. So to use again. Okay, to use again. To make new again. Understand? Do this. How can we recycle? What can we recycle? Go ahead.
We drink or can drink
Mm-hmm.
and we wash and drop the water and drink.
Okay, maybe you can use a bottle again. Maybe you get a water bottle and it's empty, and then you fill the bottle again with water. We can use it again. Okay, or a can like you said. Go ahead.
It's yogurt and wash again and some Lego and tiny toys.
Oh, maybe you can use a yogurt container. She says you can wash it and then you can save things inside of it. Okay, good. That's using again. Good. Okay, maybe you can use a plastic cup to plant flowers or to grow flowers. Good. That's repurposing or reusing. Good. Kyujin?
Box. Trash.
Wait from that. I apologize because of the bell. We're going to go ahead and stop there. But there are many ways that we can help our ecosystem by recycling or using again. So you find ways that you can help our ecosystem. All right, your homework today is page 25, the 2 questions. I'll say it again. Your homework is page 25, the 2 questions.